Europe has taken in millions of Ukrainian refugees, and towns have been very supportive. They want to help these people, but they are saying they are straining under the flooding of refugees. What can you do to help them? Because they are saying they are reaching limit.
First of all, yes, I want to acknowledge and thank from the bottom of my heart all these people, the Europeans who have opened their hearts and their homes to the Ukrainian refugees. This is amazing. And I understand that this is straining over time. This is why we introduced the Temporary Protection Directive, which means basically direct access for the Ukrainians to the labor market, to the schooling system, to the health system, and to social security. Also to help take the burden off the shoulder of the ordinary people who did a great job.
Can I ask you, this is from TV2 Denmark, some more general questions. We are now, having this war for nearly a year. Since the invasion, as a top politician, what has mostly surprised you during this year?
Deeply impressed. I was deeply impressed by the bravery, the courage and the resilience of the Ukrainian people. And I was touched and proud about the unity, resolve and determination of the European people.
When we talk about, how do we take this further, the Chinese have just said at this conference that they will support peace talks and they think that the way forward is peace talks. How do you see a negotiable peace? How do you see peace come?
I think very important is nothing about Ukraine without Ukraine. It's Ukraine fighting for its independence and sovereignty that has to decide at what time they want to sit down at the negotiation table with the aggressor. And there's a second point. China has taken side very clearly. It has signed the unlimited friendship agreement with Russia. So it has taken a specific position. We should keep that in mind. China is not neutral towards the whole process. As we are not neutral, we are backing, of course, Ukraine.
So when do you see peace coming? Zelensky said at this conference that he will think that the next Munich conference, that will be a post-war conference. Do you also believe that this war will be over within a year?
I will not make any predictions because this is not to put in words for me at the moment being. Important is, as Ukraine is fighting for our basic values, for the respect for the international law, for the UN Charter, and for the fact that today you cannot send tanks across a border and unleash such an aggression. So Ukraine is really fighting for existential values that we have, and therefore full support from our side. Putin's imperialistic plan must fail.
So back to the ammunition question, sorry to make you whip around like this. A little bit more on the timeline. Are you going to be proposing this formally? What's the next steps in this proposal? And one of the problems has been that even though there has been money, for example, through NATO, countries have not signed contracts, and that has slowed the whole process down. How can you ensure that once you have the money on the table, the contracts are signed and production can start? Thanks.
It is important because of the lack of contracts to give a certain amount of certainty to the defense industry. And these are the advanced purchase agreements that we have good experiences with. And for that, it needs a European approach because it cannot rest on the shoulders of one country, for example. So this is the approach. The second is we have the institutions in place. So we should not create something new, but we should use the European Peace Facility, which has a coordination mechanism with Ukraine already in place. We can use the so-called OCCAR, which is a procurement institution that knows all the mechanism. So for me, be practical, be fast, and these are the ingredients that we're going to put together.
Next week, or when are you bringing it up?
Approaching the anniversary, the first anniversary of the invasion of Ukraine. What's your message to the Ukrainian people at this stage, and what Russian actions do you expect on that day?
My message to the Ukrainian people is we can never ever match the sacrifices of the Ukrainian people. They are outstanding, but we can stand by their side as we did from day one on, and we will stand by their side as long as it takes. Thank you.